So we're over at 7:15. For those of you that thought it was 5 to 7, it's 5:15, 7:15. So if I'm still talking and it's like 5 after, I'm not trying to keep you later. It really is till 7:15, okay? All right, so I already introduced myself. My name is Brittany Carpenter. I am the dietitian, one of the dietitians for Hy-Vee here in town. Has anyone not been to Hy-Vee? I always just like to see who's not. Everybody's been? Hallelujah. Awesome. Okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about some of these things. So she talked more about the businessy side of things. Our jobs, even though we're both retail dietitians, are very different, and she kind of spoke about that. She's more businessy and like idea-y, and we just have fun with food all day. Sometimes we just like play around in the kitchen, so it's a very different job, very different. So, but it's nice to see both sides of it. Some people don't want to do what I do, and some people don't want to do what she does, and that's great. There's a bunch of opportunity, and I imagine within the next 10 years, there'll be a dietitian in every grocery store. I feel it coming. So hopefully this will get you guys excited. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. Like I said, I just play around all day and like look at food labels, so it's pretty cool. And I eat a lot. People send us samples of everything, so it's really great. All right, so I just wanted to start out talking about Hy-Vee just a little bit because obviously that's the reason I'm here, talking about retail dietetics. So I'm going to try not to move around. She's like, it's going to be bad, but I'm going to like, just tell me if I get out of range. All right, so what do I do at Hy-Vee? I wish I would have known what the Hy-Vee dietitians did when I worked at Cox because there's a lot of things I think that your clients and patients would benefit from. So I just wanted to cover some of those things. But we do grocery store tours. That isn't like, here's the bakery, here's the fish. Like, that's not it. We talk about how to read a label, what are the best food products, how to pick a spaghetti sauce, what's an easy meal idea, and we cater them to everything. Now, we don't get specific. It's very general information. So we're not walking around saying, you need 35 grams of carb every 5 hours or whatever. We don't do any of that, but it's very general, but it's very helpful. So what's really cool about the store tours is that in the beginning, people grab the products and they're like, this is what I eat, and they shove it in your face, and they're like, is it good? You know, tell me about it. And so then you teach them how to read a label. What am I personally looking for when I'm choosing foods? And then halfway through, it's a beautiful thing. They grab it, and instead of like shoving it in your face, they turn it around and they look at it. So that's the goal, right? So they can do that for the rest of their lives. And that's our goal with them. So those are really, really great. That is something we offer for free. It is a free service. We don't like to tell like the world about it because a lot of times we get a lot of people who they're like, do they have this at Walmart? I'm like, well, that's not the point, right? You're here so that you can buy our products and connect with us and love Hy-Vee as much as we do. So, but it'd be great for people in the hospital who, if they are really interested in nutrition, you know they do great, but they just don't have the means to see a dietitian. That is an awesome, awesome service. So keep that in mind. We do employee wellness. We do other company wellness. We were just meeting with like city utilities today. We do a couple other businesses in town. We do a lot with them. We do lunch and learns with a bunch of companies. We keep the health market up to date. So all of the organic, the gluten-free, all of that. We make sure that all of the trends, that we have the food products for the trends. We try to stay ahead of the game, and so, we say, people are going to start asking about this, and we need to make sure we have this. And we'll talk about trends at the end. And it's awesome because food companies see us as the gateway to get into Hy-Vee. So we all the time, like anytime we go to our office and there's a box at our door, we're like, oh, please be food, please be food, please be food. And we open it, and sometimes it's magazines, but sometimes it's food, and it's really exciting. Like we just got a huge box. Sometimes they're a little stingy. They give us like one bar to share. We're like, that's not cool. But then other times, like the last shipment we got was this huge box of like these new bean chips. It's called Bean Fields. Has anyone tried it? My interns did. Yeah, they were delicious. So we're like, hey, we don't need 10 bags of chips in our office. Do you guys want some chips? But they were really good. So they send them to us, and other times they send us products, and I'm like, that was a mistake. They taste awful. Like, it would have been better if they sent us material. And we were like, oh, that looks good, and then we never tasted it. So it's really fun. We get to try really new products. We do consultations. So we do one-on-one consultations with clients. We do not accept insurance, so it is a self-pay. But some clients choose to do that. Some clients hate to get a referral and then wait to get in. Some people just want to do it right then. So that is something we offer, and it's awesome paired with a grocery store tour. So in the consultation, we talk about what to do, and then we walk out and we talk about exactly how to do it. So remember, we just talked about this. This is how it translates into grocery shopping. So it's really awesome. We end up spending a lot of time with them. We do cooking and nutrition classes. So we do a variety. We do something different every month, and we have the luxury of doing whatever class we want. So if a client or a customer comes to us and say, hey, I think it'd be really cool to do a cooking light for 2 class, then we do it. So that's exactly what happened. She was like, I would love to cooking for 2, and so we just put it on the next month's schedule. So it's really cool. For those of you that aren't aware, we do a partnership with Cox College, and it's been a really cool program. Once a month, we do a cooking class with them, and it's a good time. So it's $10. You get to taste 4 recipes. You get to drill the interns in front of Professor Williams, so that's really fun, and see how nervous they get. But no, they all do great. They all do wonderful, but it's a really, really fun class. We do cholesterol and BMR screens. So we have something called the MedGym, and it measures your BMR. It takes less than 10 minutes. So it's less invasive than some other indirect calorimetry stuff. And then, of course, cholesterol. We have support groups. This is another thing I wish I would have known. We have 2 support groups that are completely free that we host every month. We have a diabetes support group on the 3rd Monday of every month, completely free. And we have a gluten-free support group the 2nd Monday of every month, which is completely free. So for all those diabetics that are even they're not super interested in making changes, it's an awesome class to go to. So I run the diabetes. Priscilla runs the gluten-free, but you get it every month is a different topic. So they get a bunch of information, they get recipes. It's an awesome, we don't talk carb counting, or I don't give them specific carbs, but we talk about everything else. We always practice carb counting though. So I don't give them a set level, but we do every class talk about, like we did barbecues. So we took several barbecue meals you would eat at a barbecue, and we carb counted them together. So it's really, really a good thing. They really like it, and it's a really fun time. And we get to try out, I try out recipes on them a lot. So my group, they're always like, are we having chia seeds again? I made chia seed pudding one time, and it scarred them for life. Like, nobody will let me forget the chia seed pudding. I bet it was delicious, but they didn't like it. So it just meant more for me. So I took it all home. So it was great. And then we also do kids cooking classes. So for any kiddos, it's really fun. We always we make them try a vegetable at the beginning of class. Sometimes it's something weird, like jicama. Kids don't try jicama, but if they're in a group of 20 kids and everybody's trying jicama, they're going to try jicama, right? So our rule is you don't have to like it, you just have to try it. And then they do hands-on cooking recipes. They make our room a complete mess, but it's awesome for the parents because they just walk away. They're like, oh, you got egg on the floor. Someone will clean it up. Something I just want to touch on real quick, again, that would be so, so helpful for your clients, especially those of you that work in the hospital. This is an awesome service. We just rolled out our aisles online. It's online shopping for groceries. So you go online. You can choose every single product we have in the store we have online. This is kind of a sample of what the screen looks like. You can have it delivered. I don't even know what our times are. I think 8 is the last time they deliver, or you can pick it up in the store. If you want to pick it up in the store, it's just $2.95 extra. If you want them to deliver it to your house, it's just $4.95 extra. And if you order over $100 worth of groceries, it's completely free. So that's pretty legit, right? We do it at work. Because I'm like, I work at a grocery store. I don't want to get off work and be like, oh, I'm still going to walk around the store for an hour. Because then people stop me. It just happens. So this is awesome, right? It's really, really cool. Priscilla just did it right before we left. And you call the department and they just wheel a cart over with all of our groceries. We're like, shoot, can you cook it too? Like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. So they do have a favorites tab. If you make a profile, you can click your favorites because generally we buy the same food items. It has the nutrition info and ingredients for every single food item in the store. So that's awesome. So for those people that turn it around and look at the labels, you can do that online. Yes?
Can I ask a question? Do you drive up to pick it up, or do you have to physically walk in the store?
You have to walk in. It's something we're working on, Sarah. But you could probably, you could probably have it delivered to your car for $4.95 though. Like they would probably do that. You can call me Sarah, and I'll bring it out to your car. Okay. Yeah. But it's pretty cool. But it's also great for us dietitians who, like, I get texts a lot from all of you saying, hey, I have a client asking about this. I can't find anywhere online the ingredients. So I just, like, take my phone and I walk in the store and I take a picture and I send it to you guys. But this is much easier for me. So, but it's really, really great just to look up products. The searching, they're still playing with, like, the search tool, hopefully getting more things to pull up. But it's awesome for, like, clients in the hospital, the elderly who can't shop anymore, so they just eat crackers all day long. This is awesome. So, and it's awesome for all of us busy people, right? It's really cool. So I'm a little obsessed with it, if you can't tell. But
how far ahead do you have to order stuff?
I think you just have to give them a 2-hour window. Yeah. So it's great, like after work, you can just be like, oh, don't mind if I do pick up some blah, 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 and then pick it up or have it delivered. So another great thing about it that I'm talking to clients is it eliminates impulse buys. Completely eliminates them. So if your clients are like my clients and they go grocery shopping and every time they buy a bag of candy, like not a tiny bag, like a big bag of candy, that completely eliminates that. So they only buy what they need and they don't have all that added stuff because it was on a pretty display and they grabbed the chips because they were hungry. So it's pretty cool. So how are your clients choosing foods? This is something that's very interesting. Until I started working there, I didn't really understand, because we're dietitians, right? We know how we choose foods, but what is the general public still looking for in their food items? And there's more, but this is just a small list. So they're still looking at calories. When you ask them how many calories they're trying to eat a day, they say, I don't know. So I say, okay, so what does that number mean when you're looking at the package? They just try to get it as low as possible. So, and we'll talk about how that can kind of be a dangerous game coming up. Or they use those apps, MyFitnessPal, all that. The problem I've seen with those apps, since we do BMR testing, pretty much everyone that gets that test done has already looked to see how many calories they should eat on MyFitnessPal or, what's the other one? What's the other big one? Lose It. And the calorie levels are unreal different. All of those apps overestimate calorie needs by a ton. Minimum 300 calories. And that's not for BMR, that's for like when you figure out their activity level and everything. So some of these clients are coming in, they've been tracking their food for months and they haven't seen anything, or some of them have gained weight, and I think it's because it's overestimating their calories. I had a man come in and sit in my office yesterday and he said, it's always the same, they're like, can you help me? And I'm like, I don't know, like, you gotta tell me what you want, I don't know what you want. And he said, I'm trying to lose weight so I can have my knee surgery. I said, okay, awesome. He said, but I used MyFitnessPal and I just plugged it in and it said I should eat 3,000 calories a day to lose weight. And he was a big guy, like he was tall, but he was just very large. So when you put your weight in, it figures you need a ton of calories. And I'm like, I can't tell you exactly how many calories you need without a consultation, but I'll tell you that's too high. And he was not at an active job. So those apps, they can be awesome. And I said, it makes you very aware of what you're putting into your mouth. However, it's not always just about calories, which we'll talk about as well. A lot of them now are avoiding specific ingredients. High fructose corn syrup is a big one. MSG and soy are the biggest ones that people are trying to avoid right now. Funny thing about high fructose corn syrup, they stopped writing out high fructose corn syrup on labels, and it now says HFCS. So nobody knows what that is. So people say, well, I don't eat a high fructose corn syrup. And honestly, if they want to avoid it, I'm going to help them avoid it. But I'm never like, oh, that's the one thing, It may be something, probably those are very processed foods, and I have other reasons why they shouldn't be eating them. But so a lot of people are completely bypassing the HFCS because they don't know what it is. So, also a lot of companies now are just labeling it as fructose. But I did some research into it, and it's a different type of fructose. It's like one molecule off, so they don't have to call it high fructose corn syrup, but it's the exact same thing, but they can just now call it fructose. So people are buying it, and they're like, well, it's not high fructose corn syrup at least, it's just fructose. So there's a lot of tricky things like that, so just something to be aware of. Buzzwords, people buy based on these words here, undone, simple, local, sustainable, those are the big words right now. And Dr. Oz, that's why people buy food. I had to put him in there. Even after all the controversy, people still are like just die-hard Dr. Oz people. But at least lately he's had some pretty good segments, like healthy fats and things like that. Allergy testing is huge. I don't know if you guys have seen that. A lot of naturopath doctors are ordering that people go get tested for all this huge list of things. Has anyone seen these tests, these printouts? Yes, yeah? Okay, so we're the only ones. So what it is it's like 5 pages of things they're highly allergic to, mildly allergic to, and kind of, sort of allergic to. So, but they're things that are really weird, like paprika, onion, when the clients eat onions every day. Things they're like, this was never a problem for me before, but I guess I can't eat it. So that's a very interesting conversation, and they want to do a consultation. And I did some research. I don't know if you've done any research on the test, but I kind of looked into it, and it basically said you can get a lot of false positives. So if somebody eats beef every single day, it is likely going to show up as a food allergy. And that's honestly, everybody that comes to me, they're like, it says I'm highly allergic to that. I eat it every day. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So that's a whole other thing. You'll probably start seeing those, but it's very weird. It's very interesting. So, but if, I say my piece about it, and then if they still want to meet with me and talk about what to eat, it's very easy. I just tell them to eat things that aren't on the list, which is simple. But sometimes they just want someone to tell them those things. Okay, so these are some things that clients are eating, they think they're doing awesome, right? So anytime I say I'm a dietitian, like we had a guy install a microwave not too long ago in my home, and he, just making small talk, what do you do? I said, I'm a Hy-Vee dietitian. Okay, awesome. My wife got me to eat veggie chips, and I'm like, oh. Or he said veggie straws, and I was like, great, that's so great, awesome. So some of these things, these are just marketing things that, again, people think they're doing so well, and they're so excited to tell you, and I'm just like, great, that's so awesome. I'm not getting into that conversation. So one of the things that's very popular is products saying olive oil on it, with olive oil. So clients think that they replaced all of the soybean and vegetable oil with the olive oil, so it's a better product. This one specifically, this Hellman's brand, is probably the most popular one, and soybean oil is the primary oil. And then they put a little bit of olive oil, and then they call it an olive oil with olive oil. So clients are buying olive oil products. When I first started there, people kept telling me they were eating yogurt butter. And I was like, what on earth is yogurt butter? Like, is that a thing? Are you doing that at home? Like, what are you doing? And they're talking about Brummel and Brown made with natural yogurt. So if you look at the ingredients, there's a tiny bit of yogurt powder that's in it. And right here, I expanded it, but right underneath it says 35% veggie oil spread, 10% natural yogurt. But in their minds, it's not butter, and it's not margarine, it's yogurt that kind of looks like butter. So, again, they're trying very hard to make great decisions, and I love the effort, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of education. So if someone says I'm eating yogurt butter, don't think in your head it's like butter and with yogurt on top. It's just a really weird thing. Veggie straws and veggie chips. This is so popular. Have you guys had these? Has anyone had those before? Yeah, they don't taste, you're like, oh, they don't even taste like veggies. Awesome. So the only thing that's veggie about them is they have spinach and beetroot powder, and the only reason they have it is so they can market it and to color them. So there's nothing healthy about these things. There's nothing veggie about it. There are real veggie chips. There's a brand called Terra. It's Terra, and they are literally a cut of sweet potato, a cut of beets. They fry them just like regular chips, and they're delicious. So, is it the healthiest thing? Would I rather eat a beet? Yeah, but I'll take that over veggie straws. So, and then veggie pasta, it's the same thing. On this label, I hate to bash a Hy-Vee product. Some of our products are amazing. There's a couple in the presentation though that I'm like, man, we dropped the ball. How come nobody asked the dietitian? Me specifically, I wanted him to ask me. So Hy-Vee, the veggie pasta, on the ingredients label, it just says, the only thing veggie about it is it says nutrients from whole food concentrates such as carrots, blah, 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 blah. So it's the nutrients, and on the package it says a half serving of veggies or something. So So the problem with that, do I care if they eat this versus white? I don't care, it's the same thing. However, people count this as a veggie serving, and then they don't eat veggies with it. So, if that's what they're doing, that is no longer a healthy choice. So you can't eat veggie pasta thinking you're eating carrots and broccoli. You're not. You're eating pasta. So that's another just quick education thing that we talk about. Belvita, everybody eats these things. Everybody, which is fine. It's like a cookie. But people eat it as a meal replacement, and they think it's just this amazingly healthy product. They taste great. It tastes like sugar, so it's pretty awesome. But there's 13 grams of sugar and only 4 grams of protein. And people eat that for a breakfast. And so I can think of a billion other things that are much better than that. And I didn't list the ingredients, but they're, of course, pretty long. It's just a cookie. I mean, it's a flat cookie, which is fine if you want to eat that, but just as long as you don't think it's a healthy option. That's the problem with a lot of these products. If you eat them every once in a while, I don't care. You know, that's going to be better than eating Andes, probably. You won't be as happy, but, but you can argue, right? So that's just really popular. I don't know, in breakfast cookies, I just spit, sorry, front row. Breakfast cookies are huge right now. They're everywhere. Breakfast biscuits, breakfast cookies, they are everywhere. So it's making a huge, like they're just, oh my gosh, it's awful. PB2, I know there are people in here that eat PB2, and that's okay, I still love you. But, PB2, you know, when we're just, I'm trying to get my clients to eat as natural as possible, as unprocessed as possible. So these PB2, people just love it. And they add sugar to it. It's peanut, sugar, salt. Now, is it a ton of sugar? No, it's not. However, if they go through one of these every 3 days, that's probably a lot of sugar they don't need. And you can have regular peanut butter without any sugar and with all the fats that are intact. So, you know, and they say, but I love the powder. And I'm like, okay, so is there anything you use that you couldn't use regular peanut butter in? They're like, well, I like it in my shakes, in my smoothie. Well, do you blend your smoothie? Yeah. Did you know peanut butter goes in a blender just fine? Like, it's really fine. I've done it before. It's great. So, you know, it's not the worst thing, but again, we're getting so much sugar in the diet. The last statistic I saw was like 80% of processed foods have sugar. So anything we can do to decrease is a positive thing. And again, just going back to that real food, we called probably 5 different people in that company to try and figure out if they defatted their peanuts when they put it in there. Nobody knew. Nobody's ever asked these people, this company, this. You know, do you use defatted peanut flour? They do. It just says peanuts on the label, but they do. They heat it and extract the oils, and you know. So anyway, if you're wondering, we called and we're on hold for hours, but they do. So Health Market, our Hy-Vee Health Market, we were so excited. PB2 was huge. Our Health Market said, we're going to make a PB2, what do you call it, competition type thing. We're like, awesome, sweet. So huge anticipation. We waited forever for this product to come out. It comes out. My Health Market manager comes in. She's like, it's here. I'm like, awesome. So I go out and look at it, turn it over, a ton of sugar. A ton of sugar. So in 2 tablespoons of powder, there's 1 teaspoon of sugar. That is a lot of sugar, right? That's not like PB2 at all. So funny story also. I'll try to make it quick. So we were in Iowa for a media training, and I just am not scared to make a fool of myself. So I'm like the first volunteer that volunteers to like mock these media things. And so I, you know, volunteer, and then because I was first, they like throw me a prize, and I'm like, yes, it's gonna be food, something awesome, you know. They throw me our Hy-Vee Health Market powdered peanut butter, and all the dietitians in the room were like, gosh, I'm so jealous. And I'm like, am I the only person in this room that doesn't want this, and I'm the one that got it? So anyway, I'm like, what are we gonna do with this, Priscilla? Like, what on earth? So one day we're sitting there, we had a little extra time, so I was like, let's go taste this. Let's go taste this. We go in the club room, we reconstitute it, you just add water to it. We taste it, I'm thinking it's gonna be awful. It is delicious, like delicious. And I'm like, you know what? It tastes like the inside of a Reese's Pieces. It tastes exactly like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna go check the Reese's Pieces. So I go out, because the candy's right next to the club room. I turn it over. The inside of a Reese's Pieces is exactly our Hy-Vee powdered peanut butter. Exactly. And I was like, awesome. So people, again, is this better than some other things you could eat for dessert? Yeah, but if you're eating this every day thinking it's a healthy option, You don't realize you're getting all that sugar. You're like, oh, it doesn't even taste healthy. It's so good. Probably not the greatest thing to eat. So yogurt, this is just to signify that there are a lot of fake Greek yogurts. That actually, when a food product says Greek yogurt, there is no regulation for what has to be in that product. So anything can say Greek. There is zero anything that says it has to be this if you want to put Greek on your label. So a lot of these are just some examples, but they use thickeners and other things in it to make it the thickness, the consistency of Greek yogurt. The benefit of Greek yogurt is the straining process. So the way that they strain it leaves a lot of the protein in there and takes some of the other stuff away. So again, is it the worst thing to eat? No, but if clients are thinking that's the best choice, they are wrong. And I want to show them the better choice, which we'll talk about. So I always feel like a conspiracy theorist when I'm talking about, I'm walking through the grocery store, but I just want them to be informed. At the end of the day, is it going to be awful if clients are eating Oikos plain? No, it's not. But if they, in their mind, are being the healthiest that they can be, I want them to truly be the healthiest that they can be. That's our job, right, to educate. I don't say never eat that, never eat this. It's very much about just make an informed decision. And unfortunately, there's a lot of dietitians, before I worked in Hy-Vee, I didn't know a lot of this stuff. And so if we aren't informed about it, our clients for sure are not informed about it and probably won't be. So that was just kind of the point of this, is just to be aware of what clients are eating. So Chobani and Hy-Vee are two true Greek yogurts. And we talk about those in a little bit, but they are actual real ones. This is just funny, so I just had to put this in there because I get so many questions about it. Even if you've been in Hy-Vee lately, we have police detail in Hy-Vee now that just hang out. Usually they just come and chat it up with us. They're like, you got any food in here? And we're like, sure. But something funny, one of them said something funny to me about Quest Bar, and so it was on my mind. So Quest Bar is the thing right now. Quest, we went to the holiday show in Iowa, and it's basically just a huge expo for Hy-Vee, and the last day is just a bunch of free product and food samples everywhere. It was like a dietitian's paradise. It was awesome. They had all these displays of health food, and you could just take whatever you wanted. But I felt really bad, so I kept putting it in my purse and acting like I didn't grab anything. And then I'm like, oh, you can have these. It's fun. But it's really kind of cool. So Quest Bar, they flew in from California. They had the biggest display there. They have Quest chips, if you haven't seen those. They're disgusting. Has anyone tried them? They're awful. Oh my gosh, they're awful. Yeah. But they have a whole bag has 100 calories or something ridiculous. So people are all over it. They're gross. Don't try them. So they're just coming out with a bunch of new products. They now came out with a Quest protein powder. So it's not going away. They're so popular. We can barely keep them on the shelves. The thing with Quest is they're fine. They're not the worst product I've seen at all. They're all right. They do have 6 grams, usually at least, of sugar alcohols in them. And they have 16 grams of fiber. 16 grams of fiber. Plus 6 grams of sugar alcohol. You can imagine your bowels. Okay? So the other thing is, people who eat Quest eat Quest. They don't eat 1, they eat 5 a day, okay? So that's something you have to know. So when people come to you and they're like, man, I just have all these digestive issues, and you talk to them about their diet and they're eating 3 Quest bars, sugar-free candy, and sugar-free maple syrup, we've found the problem, okay? You do not need to go on a medication for digestive issues. Please don't. Please just eliminate the sugar alcohol. So the public has no idea what a sugar alcohol is. Anything with a sugar alcohol in it, on the back, there is a bright yellow warning label. Bright yellow warning label. Nobody reads that. They just see sugar-free. So just be very aware of it. The policeman, he was so funny, because I walk around, our store director wants us to wear lab coats now in the store, which is fine, because he wants people to know who we are and ask us questions. So I don't remember what I was doing. I was doing something, and he's like, you're a dietitian, right? And I'm like, yeah, I am. He's like, what about Quest? What do you think about it? And I'm like, oh, great. No, I didn't say that. So I was like, it's fine. There's a lot of sugar alcohols in there, so sometimes that like really upsets people. And he's like, does it cause explosive diarrhea? I was like, how many are you eating? And he's like, I usually have like, sometimes I say I have one, but I really have probably 3 a day. And I'm like, yeah, you're cured. All you gotta do is take it out of your diet. Like, don't eat as much. And he was like, oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And so I'm just imagining. And I think a lot of clients are like that. They're like, I have no idea why I am making a mess everywhere. Because of me. So just be aware. If they say digestive issues, the first question you should ask is, how many Quest bars are you eating? Another thing, a lot of my diabetics, like I said, I do the diabetes support group. A lot of them still do sugar-free products. They don't realize that the carbohydrate count is exactly the same. Sometimes it's higher in sugar-free products. I've tried to find research on blood sugar levels and how it's affected by sugar alcohols. You know, can you subtract? Because most, like the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association says count half of the sugar alcohols as carbs. But every actual piece of research that I've found shows it no difference. It shows them exactly the same as far as blood sugar levels rising. So it's something just to educate your clients about, and they'll eat a whole bag if they think it's free. Like, they're like, oh, it's carb free. They'll eat a lot, and then they'll be miserable. So save them from that experience. So trans fat is something that is still not going away. Slowly, products are switching their fats to not be trans fat. So I don't know if all of the interns know. Hopefully most dietitians know. But they can, so it can still say 0 grams trans fat if it's less than half of a gram per serving, which is something I didn't realize until probably the internship, I guess. But, and nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. So it's something I try to make people very aware. Oh, someone's excited. They had a Quest bar. They're like, yay, sure. I gotta go to the bathroom. So anyway, slowly products, like I said, are transitioning out, you know, taking a lot of those partially hydrogenated oils out, and they're fully adding all hydrogen. So now it says fully hydrogenated, which technically isn't trans fat. Sometimes I just lump it into the same category, because if it's fully hydrogenated, I probably don't want them to eat it anyway. So sometimes in the store, I say just look for the word hydrogenated and just cut it out. And I know that not all of it is trans fat, but on these lists, this is truly partially hydrogenated foods. So some people say to me, they're like, yeah, but if it's half of a gram, like, does it really matter? Like, and I'm like, yeah, the FDA is trying to ban it. It's a pretty big deal. Like, you probably don't want to eat it. They don't ban many things. But it is, there's just a ton of research that's done on it. It's just very, very harmful, even in small amounts. So again, these are very common foods that clients are eating. So I just try to educate them and just make sure, you know, and if they still want to continue to eat it, that's fine. I just want them to be educated about it. And that's really, it's an interesting kind of line to walk in the grocery store when people say, you know, because you don't want to make, especially if they're not in a consultation, if they're just in the store, it's kind of like, how far do I want to, like, how in depth do I want to answer this question, and what is going to harm them more than help them? So it's kind of an interesting thing when you answer questions for people that are not in a consultation, or when someone asks you to take them to a product that is just awful, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll show you where it is. Yeah, you know. And I just try to keep my mouth shut, or hope they don't see my name tag that says dietitian. I'm like, I don't want them to ask me about it. I don't want to get into this, you know. So are any of these shocking to anybody? There's 3 more slides of trans fat. But is any of this new to anybody? Does anyone see anything that they didn't know? You can shout it out. We're all heroes in here. We're like, yeah, I do that. This is the biggest culprit of trans fat in people's diets. Liquid creamer. Liquid creamer. It's awful. So there's, again, they're like, well, I don't use that much. You know, and by that, not that much, they mean like half a Like they fill half their cup. They're like, I don't fill it all the way up, you know. Of course, donuts, croissants, those things. Special K, almost all of their weight loss products have trans fat. Their cereal bars, their protein bars, their meal replacement bars, all of them have trans fat in them. Yes?
What is in the breakfast? I guess I just assumed breakfast on the go was nuts.
Good question. So all of them, actually there's 4 flavors, 3 of them have it. I can't remember which one did not have it. So most of the time the granola is coated in like a yogurt, or the raisins, it's like yogurt covered raisins, which have the trans fat in them too. So again, that's one that if we're like, oh, Emerald breakfast on the go, and they're like, oh yeah, it's nuts and granola. In our minds, if you never looked at the label, you're probably like, all right, sure, you know. But it does have that trans fat in there. So breakfast cereal, kids' breakfast cereals used to be a lot more common. A lot of them have switched to fully hydrogenated. Reese's Puffs, I think it's Reese's Puffs, or Cocoa. Reese's Puffs, I think, had trans fat in them, and they switched it to coconut oil, which I thought was interesting. And they're not even marketing it. Like I thought, since coconut's so big right now, I figured they'd be like, made with coconut oil. Nothing, not a peep. So that was really weird, but that's fine. But yeah, it's never the adult cereals too, it's all the kids' cereals. So, more. The Oh Yeah bar is a protein bar, if you guys have never seen that. It's pretty popular. For the saltine crackers, the premium has the trans fat. The other brand, the other popular brand, I can't remember what it is. I can't remember. The other one does not, and off brands typically do not. So that's another trick for products that have trans fat. Typically the generic brand does not have trans fat, which is interesting. You'd almost think it'd be the opposite, but it's not. Pizza rolls, of course. I mean, what's not in a pizza roll? Gardetto's is one of the few that actually says 1 gram on the label. If anyone's seen that, it's pretty remarkable. Funny story, myself and Priscilla were traveling for a trip, and we stopped at a Walgreens. We go to Kansas City. We do like these 1-day trips to Kansas City. It's 6 hours of driving in a day. It's really crazy. But we stopped at a Walgreens. We're like, oh, let's get some snacks, you know? So she grabs a bag of Gardetto's, and in my head I'm like, she knows there's trans fat in this, right? Like, but I'm not going to be that person that's like, Priscilla, you want to get that? So I just let it go, assuming she knows, because I'm like, sure, like I'll eat things with trans fat every once in a while. Like I'm not going to be that person. So we get in the car, and I got goldfish. It's not like I was doing much better, you know? But so it was fine. It was a long day. And so she's opening them, and I'm like, man, I love Gardetto's. She's like, me too. I'm like, can't believe it's still one of the only things that has trans fat on it. And she's like, what? I was like, you didn't know that? She's like, why didn't you tell me? Like, I'm not going to be in the store like Priscilla, you know, that has trans fat in there, you know, like whatever. It was just really funny. So that's when it shocks people, but it says 1 gram. I was like, oh, it's pretty crazy. And then Hungry Man's. Not all of them do, but a lot of them do. Peanut butter. Almost all of them have this in there. So I spend a lot of time talking about peanut butter. There are 2 to 3 brands in the entire Hy-Vee that I recommend. All of them have added sugars, added fats, trans fat. One of them has fish oil in it. There's some really weird things. I don't know. It's really weird. But there are a couple brands that I recommend, and we'll talk about those. But peanut butter, again, peanut butter and coffee creamer are the biggest ones. And then sweets, of course, which is this slide. So these are ones that we probably all know about. Like we knew eating frosting with a spoon wasn't a good idea, but snack packs is one that really shocks people. Snack packs. The sugar-free has it in there too. The fat-free does not, but it replaces it with other chemicals. So Fig Newtons is another one. All these women staying home, they're like, I eat my Fig Newtons. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Skinny Cow. Did anybody not know about that? The Skinny Cow? Weight Watchers products have it in there too. Actually, Weight Watchers switched theirs to fully hydrogenated, but still, not a good thing. If you've never looked at the ingredients of Skinny Cow and Weight Watchers cakes, like sweet treats, you have to. It's literally, I think they made the box that long to fit the ingredients. Like it's really crazy. It's kind of trippy. So, again, your clients are choosing. They know that Skinny Cow is healthy. They know that Weight Watchers is healthy. So they're like, man, I can have a Weight Watchers brownie? Awesome. Like, let's do this thing, you know? I'm gonna have 3. So just they have to, that's why looking at the ingredients is so important. Because again, if they're looking at calories, there's a claim in green, it says the calories, I can't remember what it is, but it's like 90 calories. So again, if you're looking at that, you're like, man, heck yeah, I'll do that. But they just don't realize what's in it. Oatmeal cream pies, you knew there had to be something wrong, they're delicious. Snickers is pretty obvious. Chips Ahoy, again, if you get the off-brand, not that anybody should be buying cookies in the store, but if you buy the off-brand Chips Ahoy, they do not have trans fat in them. And then Snickers, of course. So, any ones to add? Does anyone know of any that I didn't cover? Shout them out if you do. No. Everybody
Well, turning into the Fig Newtons, the Nature's Bakery Fig Bars, which don't have trans fats, and they're killer.
I've never had them. Give those a try. Yeah.
You're eating them at home.
Yeah.
Nature's Bakery.
Nature's Bakery. Okay, so also, not only do we talk about trans fat, but I spend most of my time talking about sugar. I think one of my interns that I had, they're like, are we sometime, you and Priscilla really care about sugar? Like, are we gonna learn about that sometime, why it's so harmful? And I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll talk it to death in the internship, so you're fine, like, just wait for it. All the second years are like, yeah. Awesome. Okay, so sugar content of food. Again, it's in everything, and so the more we can decrease it and have them not eat mass amounts of it or find alternatives, the better off we are. So if you have not done research on sugar and health, it's some really interesting articles. They're very interesting. I'm sure the interns would be happy to send you some. They've probably got them saved on their computer. Okay, so keep guesses in your mind. On the next slide, I tell you how many grams and teaspoons are in these. Does anyone, what do you think will be the highest one on here?
Yogurt.
Greek gods.
Greek gods?
I think Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran?
Back
Cliff Bars, yeah. I grew in Cliff Bars for so long. Okay, does anyone have a guess? What's Noosa is a yogurt. Oh, that's a yogurt. Okay. Does anyone know how many grams of oh, wait. Okay, so there they are. Cliff Bar, 23 grams of sugar. That's almost 6 teaspoons. Does anyone know how many teaspoons of sugar in a Snickers bar? 6. So, you would never eat a Snickers bar for breakfast because you'd be like, yeah, it's too, no, it has trans fat in it too. It's not a health food. But you'd think, no, it has too much sugar. But people eat Cliff Bars for every meal. It's the same with Quest. People don't eat one Cliff Bar. They eat them all day long. But it looks so healthy. There's a man rock climbing. It's a brown package. Like, how, like you can't get healthier than that. Luna Bar isn't as high, but still, 15 grams, almost 4 teaspoons. So for the interns, if you don't know, there are 4 grams of sugar in a teaspoon of sugar. So when I'm talking to clients about sugar, I never say, look at the grams. There you go. You know, we convert it into teaspoons because that's how we think. We think in terms of teaspoons. The Noosa yogurt, 7.5 teaspoons, and that is a small container of yogurt. That is pretty darn small. The Greek gods, this is the big carton, but I'm talking about the single serving one, 23 grams of sugar. So what I do when I go to schools is I have the sugar in little Ziplocs. Those interns saw, they went with me for one of them. And if you tried to fit that sugar in the yogurt, it's literally over half of the container. And so that really they're like, oh, okay, that's a lot of sugar. Almond Breeze, 7 grams, which you're like, compared to yogurt, that's fine. And compared to regular milk, which has like 12, 13 grams of sugar, you're like, well, that's less. But the sugar in the milk is natural. It's normally there, and this is added sugar. So if you get, this is just the original, which most people will get, but if you get the unsweet version, at least it doesn't have all the sugar. It'll have less than 1 gram. And there's so many brands of almond milk. Raisin Bran, 4.5 teaspoons. This is also the reason for the Greek yogurt. I really like my clients to get plain and add their own sugar, add their own honey to it, because you will never add to a tiny thing, you will never add 6 teaspoons of sugar. It just won't happen. So a lot of people buy the flavored because they're like, well, I add a ton of honey to it. But they don't think in turn, they're not adding 6 teaspoons, they're not. So at least it's a better choice than getting some of the prepackaged. Anyone know how many grams of sugar are in a Krispy Kreme donut? Throw it out. Throw out a guess. I hear like a whisper somewhere. 30. 30? There's 10. 10 grams of sugar in a Krispy Kreme donut. So again, we are very quick to say, don't eat a Krispy Kreme donut in the morning, eat a Cliff Bar, you know. Now, is there protein in a Krispy Kreme? No. Are they going to be hungry? Yes. But if you're talking about sugar, like just think comparatively. I'd rather have a Krispy Kreme donut, right? Like if I'm going to have sugar, I better be a Krispy Kreme donut. So again, you know, you can have 2 Krispy Kreme donuts and still be under the grams of sugar for a Cliff Bar. And that's pretty crazy, right? It's pretty shocking. So, does that shock anyone? Everyone's going to be like, there are 10 grams. It's like the fun fact of the day. Cool. Okay, so this is, I've never done this before, but I think it'll be really fun. We're going to play Guess That Food Item. Any guesses? I should have brought prizes, and I didn't. So another thing I tell my clients is, and obviously we all know, you want to be able to pronounce the ingredient, but I also say, think if you had the recipe, could you make this at home? Do you have, how real are those ingredients? Do you have calcium, disodium, EDTA? No, you don't, right? Any guesses?
Salad dressing.
Okay, what kind of salad dressing? They were my interns. They don't count. They don't count.
It's gotta be like a ranch or something.
Light salad dressing. Light salad dressing. It's the fat-free ranch. Yeah. So, okay, you guys don't get to guess anymore because you know what I talk about. Actually, you don't know the other ones. Okay, so without intern help, you may not have known what that was, right? Like, that's pretty crazy. Okay, so it's water, then it's sugar, 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 starch, which is going to turn into sugar, and then buttermilk. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's a lot. And it's gross. Fat-free range is nasty. So, what I tell people to do is, this is one of my favorite yogurts. This is one of the real yogurts I was talking about. It's pronounced Hy-Vee. They do have a full fat, which I like for some of my clients to get the full fat. They do have a 2% and they have a fat-free. But it is delicious on its own, so you need less sugar to actually make it palatable. Nobody likes Greek yogurt. None of my clients do, at least. So you take this, you add a flavoring packet. It can be a Hidden Valley Ranch or whatever. If you want it for a salad dressing, just add some water to it and blend it up, or use this as a veggie dip. So that ends up being the ingredients, which looks like kind of a lot, but it's mainly just seasoning. The only thing in there is like a gum, xanthan gum. That's really it. Lactic acid and natural flavors. Here's a funny thing. I copy and pasted that from Aisles Online, and after lactic acid, it had a question mark. And I was like, what? It has definitely some milks, definitely some salt, maybe lactic acid with that. It was definitely a typo, but that's definitely what I have my clients do instead. Okay, here's another one. Any guesses? I'm a freak. This is literally what I do all day long. I walk around and look at ingredients.
Coffee creamer.
Coffee creamer. Okay, any other guesses? Anything else? Fat-free, sugar-free Cool Whip. Yeah, it's free Cool Whip, but don't worry, it still has sugar and oil. They just add a lot of air. They make it like whipped up. But it has hydrogenated oils. It used to be partially hydrogenated, and they changed that one. That's another one that they changed. So you can get heavy whipping cream with one ingredient, cream. That's it. In our kids class, we took cream, and one of our recipes, we don't do like super healthy stuff for the kids. We try to get vegetables in, but then we do fun stuff because we want them to keep coming to the class. And so we took heavy whipping cream and we added a little bit of sugar to it. We gave them mini mason jars and let them go to town. They shook it up and it turns into whipped cream. So you don't even need a blender. Just find a kid that has a lot of energy and then just make them shake the jar. So, but again, much better. Just real heavy whipping cream. That's what you need, much better than this. And again, people are looking at this free Cool Whip, which is sugar-free, fat-free. And when you look at the calories, it's kind of pretty minuscule compared to regular. So they're like, heck yeah. Okay, what about this? I love this just like nobody's like thought this hard all day long.
No, it's not a plus bar.
Special K protein bar. Yeah. So you see that trans fat in there, and that's very high up on the list. That trans fat is. So usually it's much lower. The Special K products, it's very high. So, yep. What about this?
Chicken pot pie.
What a little box! It's chicken pot pie from KFC. I should have had prizes. I didn't have. Yeah. So just take a look. Like just soak that in. Just soak it in, man. 790 calories. Yeah. So, there's like 20 types of hydrogenated oils, so that's really great. So yeah, anyway, nobody's going to KFC later. Okay, so there's a couple items that should look pretty recognizable. Any guesses what this is? And I brought samples of this, so you should all love me. Hopefully there's enough for everybody. Anybody? Interns from last year probably know this. John, I think, should know this.
On the spot.
If you can remember. How much do you remember?
Oh, these are those cookie things.
They are the cookie
Yes.
things, yeah. So there's a cookie called Grace's Best, and they're amazing. So obviously one of my rules with my clients is to not buy cookies or sweets in the grocery store. And if you want them bad enough, you'll make them yourself. And if you're like, I'm not making cookies, then guess what? You're not gonna eat a cookie. That's pretty cool, right? Problem solved. But this one, remember my rule of, do you have the ingredients to make, if you had the recipe, could you make that? This fits pretty darn well. So, do I want people to buy these? No. But, is it a really awesome packaged cookie? Yeah, and it tastes delicious. So, I have 2 bags, but just take one, please. Make sure. And then you can buy them at Hy-Vee. We gave John like a complimentary bag. He didn't tell us it was his birthday. It was a big deal. And so we were very angry, so we like bought him food. We were like, happy birthday. But they are delicious. The cool thing about this company is when they send a shipment of them, they send a huge sample bag. And our HR manager, sometimes she's got a rotation, but she gives us the full bag sometimes. It's pretty remarkable. And it's like 3 times the size of that. So we ration it, but I mean, it takes us 2 days to eat them. So. I'll try this one in the back. But they're pretty delicious. They're sunflower seed cookies, but they're really good. So give them a try. So again, I don't love for them to buy, if they say, you know, I'm buying cookies no matter what, then this is what I want them to buy. But otherwise, if they don't like sweets, I'm not like, hey, let me show you this great cookie, you know. If it's not an issue, obviously I don't give it to them, but yeah. Okay, what about this? Pasta sauce, yeah. So you see how fast we can get these? It's like real things. We know what they are. You don't have to we're like, I think it's this. Sorry the picture's so bad. This company literally has no pictures of their product. It's really weird. But this is one of my favorite pasta sauces. We carry it at Hy-Vee. The price point is always like $2.88, which is awesome for pasta sauce. They have a ton of different kinds, and they're all very natural. None of them use soybean or vegetable oil. They all use olive oil, which is pretty cool. What's that? Yeah, World Classics. I think it's just called World's Classics. World Classics. But it's like eye level at Hy-Vee if you go there. But their sauces are delicious, and the price point's really good. Did everyone get a cookie? What do you think? Isn't it awesome? Yeah, it's a really good cookie. So, and you get 5 of them for 1 carb serving. So for like my diabetics who are like, I'm going to eat sweets, I'm either going to have to buy it or I'm going to go out and get ice cream because I know myself. Well, that's pretty good. To get 5 cookies, you feel like you're really getting away with something. So. Okay, so we'll kind of breeze through this, but products that I love. So these are products that I always talk to clients about. The Hy-Vee yogurt. The Chobani actually has a full fat as well. Chobani 4%. It's semi-new. They used to have we used to have the little ones, single serving, and the big ones. We stopped carrying the single serving, but we still have the big tubs. One thing that I cannot figure out for yogurt, or I wish there was a product that wasn't like this, but all Greek yogurts, if you look at the ingredients, it's skim milk, and then they add cream back into it. So none of them use whole milk, like all the full fat products. And I've tried to research what that does to the composition. Like when you add it back in, when you're taking out the fat and you add it, I don't know. But I'm sure the reason they do it is so they can make huge batches of the base and then add fat for the full fat, add a little bit to the 2% and keep it the same for the skin, or for the fat-free. So that's one thing that I don't love, but literally there are no options. Siggy's is a kind of a new one that they just came out with their 4%. It is not a Greek, but it's pretty good. They have 2 flavors. They have vanilla and strawberry rhubarb, and there's 8 grams of carb for the whole container. So it's not bad, and it's pretty natural ingredients. There's 3 peanut butters I recommend in the store. One is the grind your own. The other is the East Wind. They have an almond and a peanut butter. There's no salt added to those, so I don't like them, but some people do. But the Smucker's Natural is amazing, and it's very cheap. It's very affordable. They have them at every grocery store. Of course, we want you to come to Hy-Vee, but they have them everywhere. People are terrified of the oil on top. A lot of people don't buy it because they think it's added oil. So that takes some education too. They say, well, that's not healthy. They added oil to it. And I'm like, do you know what peanuts? Do you know peanuts have oil in them? Like, it's a real thing. So people can't figure out how to mix it either. But if you're like me, we go through peanut butter like crazy at my house. We always have like 1 to 2 in the pantry. If you store it upside down, the oil slowly floats to the top and it disperses. It makes it much easier to mix when you open it. Maple syrup, clients do not know that maple syrup is a real thing. They have no idea. So a lot of them are buying Aunt Jemima sugar-free light and thick, or thick and creamy or something, I don't even know. But then I show them maple syrup and I'm like, did you know it's a real thing? Like, it's a real thing. All it is maple syrup. So is it a health food? No. But for people that are doing syrup, it's really great. And it's much more expensive, and honestly, I use that tool sometimes with clients, because every time you pour, you're like, that was 50 cents. That was another 50 cents. So they tend to use less. I do the same thing with chocolate. So if they love chocolate, I make them get a very expensive chocolate bar, because odds are they're not going to eat all of it if it was like $4.
Oh, the Askinosie, what is it? He's 60% dark?
Askinosie, yeah. So those are very pricey. Yeah, so that works great for people because everybody wants to save money. Some other products I love. We just started carrying these a couple months ago. Up in the top left, that is frozen chopped herbs. So for people whose herbs always go bad, you can keep them in the freezer and use them that way. So they're really great. This is to signify our shortcuts that we have at Hy-Vee. Pre-chopped veggies, pre-cut fruit. It's very, very helpful. You're going to pay more for it. Obviously, there's going to be an upcharge. But it's great for busy moms who are like, I don't care how much it costs. I'm not cutting the pepper, you know. So it's great for that. Missouri State, this is actually to signify that we carry Missouri State beef. So their agriculture department, they raise their own cattle. We have a lot of the guys that work in the meat department are going through the program there. And they said that's the only meat they buy, because since it's educational, everything is done exactly by the book. The cows are treated beautifully, like everything's great, and all the cows are smiling, everybody's happy. But it's really great. They're grass-fed, they're not grass-finished, but they are grass-fed, and the beef is amazing. And it's a pretty good price point. It's very close to the regular. We have a whole end cap kind of by the seafood. There's steaks, there's ground beef, there's all sorts of things. So that's really great. These pre-packaged tuna things are great for people who are on the road all the time. All those truckers that are like, I can't eat anything fresh. I can't eat healthy. I'm on the road, you know. It works really great for people to have those tuna packs. They can add stuff to it. They can eat it on a cracker. They can eat it with a fork. So that's really great. Bird's Eye just came out with these new protein blends for steamable veggie thingies. Now, it's not the greatest, most natural product, but for somebody who despises cooking, it's really great because it has some ancient grains and some veggies. They have a bunch of different types, but they just came out with that. Bird's Eye, it's Green Giant, just came out with flavored broccoli and cauliflower blends. So they have like a buffalo cauliflower that's a frozen steamable bag, a teriyaki broccoli. So it's flavored broccoli. Now again, there's not going to be the most natural, but if it gets somebody to eat broccoli, it's pretty cool, right? Or cauliflower. So one of the rules I have with clients is, you know, what would you be eating if you weren't eating this? So if you do not buy broccoli, teriyaki broccoli in a frozen bag, but then you you're like, well, I guess I don't have anything for dinner, I guess I'll go to McDonald's, then you probably just should have bought the broccoli with the teriyaki sauce. Like, it was probably the best option then. And that really resonates well with clients. What would you be eating if you weren't eating that? Same thing, if people love ice cream, and if they don't keep single serving ice cream things in their home, if they go out every time they want ice cream, they know they will, then it's probably best that they buy those single serving ice creams. But some clients, I say, don't buy it, otherwise you'll eat it. Because some people are like, I'm not putting shoes on, I'm not putting a shirt on, and I'm not going to the store if I want ice cream, you know? So it's different for everybody, but people really like that. What would you be eating if you weren't eating that? That's pasta sauce we already talked about, and just steamable veggies in general. Oat Mega is a protein bar that we just started carrying a couple months ago. A rep came in and gave it to us, and I don't love a lot of bars, but it's pretty good as far as most bars go. It uses a grass-fed whey. There's no soy in there. They add fish oil to it for some omega-3s, and the protein to carb to fat ratio is awesome. And it tastes pretty good. It does use stevia in it, so it does have, I think, regular sugar and stevia, but there's 5 grams of sugar. I think there's only 5 grams of sugar, but it's really good. We have a vanilla and a peanut butter. The kashi is pretty low sugar. I can't remember how many grams of sugar, but that's not a bad one either. The Sargento breaks, if your clients have been telling you they're eating P3 snacks, if you guys have heard that, or Sargento breaks, those are really popular. So the P3 snacks it stands for like protein, I think. It's very original. But they use deli meat. I think there's deli meat, cheese, and nuts or something. So deli meat isn't, again, if that keeps them from going to the vending machine, it's probably a positive thing. But the Sargento Balanced Breaks, it's always nuts, dried fruit, and cheese. And they have a bunch of different versions. And it comes in a pack of 3 trays. So those are they're all right. I mean, it's great for kids, for snacks, for school. Those are awesome. These new Epic bars, you're going to pay a pretty penny for them, but they're pretty delicious. They have lamb, bison, chicken, beef. They've got all these really cool flavors. If you bite into it thinking it's a beef jerky, you will spit it out. I was driving home from Iowa, and one of our managers, he was like, I'm so hungry. And I'm like, here, because I said, you know, we got a ton of free food at the show. I was just like stocking up. And I'm like, oh, here's an Epic bar. And I'm like, it's kind of like, it's meat, you know. And he's like, oh, it's like a jerky. He takes a bite. He chucks it out the window. This is like $3. And I was like, turn around, pick that up. Like, I will eat it. It was crazy, but he was expecting beef jerky, and it's a softer texture. And so, of course, when he took a bite, he was like, bleh, no, I can't do it. And I was so mad at him. I'm like, you owe me $3. Gosh. I mean, I got it for free, but you still owe me $3. Lara Bar, those are high in sugar, but the ingredients are awesome. So in the peanut butter cookie, that's my favorite one. It's peanuts, dates, salt. Dates, peanuts, salt. Peanuts, dates, salt. That's the order. So again, there's a lot of sugar. However, it's all very natural. They have other flavors. They have carrot cake. They have a bunch of different ones. But if you have someone that has a sweet tooth, at least they can get the sugar from, you know, a more natural source. And then Kind just came out with a strong line, which means they have more protein. They're all savory bars. So there's a hickory smoked roasted jalapeno and sweet chili. Again, very low sugar. I think there's less than 5 grams. And then they have 10 grams of protein. So Kind there was an article that kind of bashed them, and I felt really bad for them. Because they were saying, Kind, you're supposed to be healthy, and some of your bars have 9 grams of sugar. And I thought, Kind is who you're going to pick on. Like, out of everything, you're going to say, oh, Kind, you're not healthy, you know, and it's just so ridiculous. But there are a lot of regular Kind bars that have less than 5 grams of sugar per bar. So again, the nuts are intact, the seeds are intact, so it's a lot more natural than some other bars. And they're getting it, you know, a trail mix might be better because there's no glue holding it together. But it's pretty natural as well. Other products I love, Silver Hills Bakery. If you guys are used to Ezekiel bread, that's what I used to eat, the Silver Hills Bakery. The ingredients are the same. It's very minimal, and it's delicious. It's a lot more moist than Ezekiel, so clients tend to like that. I started buying this, and my husband was like, babe, can you not buy that other bread anymore? Can we just buy this bread? You know my husband way in the back, you could see him saying that. Yeah, he's like, I like this bread better. I was like, okay, so it's man approved. I always say that, it's man approved. Troyer has roll butter. So it's literally in these huge rolls. You can buy like a 10-pound and a 5-pound and a 1-pound. This is the 5-pound, but it's kind of like the extra virgin olive oil of butter. It's like the very first skim that they have off of the cream. So it's really good. It's delicious. Like you would want to eat it with a spoon. It's so good. Like you have not lived until you've had that butter. It's pretty remarkable. The Grace is Best, of course, you guys tasted True Lemon. So a lot of clients say, I don't like water. And sometimes I just want to say, just be an adult. Like, just be an adult and drink water. But I don't say that. But you know, it's like sometimes we got to do things we don't like to do. Sometimes we got to drink water. But True Lemon has a product that is literally just crystallized lemon. So there's nothing in it except for crystallized lemon. So it'd be better if they just squeezed a lemon into their water, but they're probably not going to do that because people like convenience of things like that. So that's a really great product. Hot tea is a tool that I use for a lot of my clients who have a sweet tooth in the evening. If every night they just want something sweet, usually like a chai tea will satisfy that craving and then it keeps them from eating. And some people are like, no, I don't know about tea. We do our employee wellness, and I talked about it, and I swear, I walk around Hy-Vee, and everybody's got hot tea. And I'm like, yay! This is awesome. But the chai specifically has a kind of a sweet taste, but there's no sugar added. Also, peppermint tea before bed. Clients really like that. It helps them go to bed. If they just brush their teeth, they can still drink it because it's peppermint. But that's really helpful for people. It keeps people from eating. Fairlife milk is, I'm sure you guys have seen this, it's filtered in a different way. It yields more protein, takes out some of the sugar, and the farm is awesome. Like I researched the farm and kind of dug a little bit, and it's a family-owned farm. The owner is actually a vet, so he can always help the cows if they're sick. They don't have to wait for someone to come in. But again, the processing, they don't do anything. It's kind of like Greek yogurt. It's in the way that they filter it that yields more protein. Tart cherry juice is great for inflammation. That's very popular right now. People with arthritis, gout, they do tart cherry juice, and it helps with that. It's great for inflammation. I have some athletes that do tart cherry juice as well. I'll have them do that for anti-inflammatory. And then Inner Eco is an awesome probiotic water. So for people that hate taking pills, I think it has 100 CFUs per tablespoon. It's unreal. So it's actually a coconut water. And we just started carrying it. It's a 30-day supply. I think our price point is like $16.99 or something like that. But it's a really great one too. Again, for people that take 1 billion pills and you're asking them to take a probiotic, this is much more enjoyable. They can add it to a smoothie in the morning. They can just take it like a shot. They can just take a swig out of it. The only thing I wish they sent cups with, like a little cup, like a little shot glass, but they don't. So you can use a different shot glass, I suppose. Real quick, I'm just going to breeze through these. If you guys have any questions, you can stop me, but I'll just go through this because I want to leave time for questions. So some food trends, snacking is coming back. Heck yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So snacking is a trend again. Ethnic food, specifically Indian food, is really hot. Ancient grains is still very popular. Raw is huge right now. Everybody wants raw. It's like the new thing. Sustainable, local, real food, clean eating. Diet trends, FODMAPs. My interns know that. Made them immediately do a FODMAP project. FODMAPs is massive. Paleo is still here. It's not going away. Atkins is coming back. Atkins is back again. Gluten-free is still really big, and 21-day fix is huge right now. Does anyone not know what 20-day fix is? Yeah. So 21-day fix is where they have an equation for, I actually wrote down the equation that they have for calories, but it's a whole system. It's Shakeology is involved. There's fitness videos, and then there's a meal plan with it. And so what you do to figure out your calories is you take your current weight times 11. That'll give you your baseline. You add 400 calories because all their workouts are supposed to burn 400 calories, which makes no sense because if me and a 7-foot man were here, we'd burn very different calories. Anyway, I don't know any 7-feet man, so maybe you guys do. So then you take your baseline, you add the 400, that'll give you your calorie need, and then you subtract 750. And that gives you your range for calories. And then it tells you exactly how many servings of everything to eat. And there's pre-colored containers that you put your food in. So essentially, if it will fit in a container, you get to eat it. So there's a protein one, there's a veggie one, a starch one, a fat one, things like that. So it's not the worst diet I've seen. It shows people portion control. But they do the Shakeology and some other things, but people have been pretty successful on it, yes.
Is the weight in kilograms or pounds?
Pounds.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so product trends, cauliflower, massive. Everybody's into cauliflower right now. Insect flour, so cricket flour is going to be huge. They are making cricket bars, and the reason for that is it's very sustainable. Very sustainable. So we have not started carrying them at Hy-Vee, but I suspect within the next month we'll get them in. Artichoke and cactus water. It's kind of like coconut water. It's the same reason. They're actually very delicious. The artichoke water is amazing. We sell those at Hy-Vee. Good for hydration, electrolytes. Coconut is still huge. Coconut oil, water, milk, anything with coconut. Bars are massive. So protein bars, any type of bar people are loving right now. I think because snacking's coming back. And then just protein products in general. So people are all about the protein. So I just breezed through those. But we have 10 minutes left, so does anyone have any questions? Nobody.
Have you tried the insect flour?
I have not. They had some cricket bars that they were talking about. I couldn't get my hands on them. But as soon as we get them in, I'm going to try that. I don't know how I feel about it. I imagine in my head, I imagine a bar with like legs coming out. I know that's not what it's going to look like, but in my head, that's what I see. But it's going to be huge. So when you guys hear this, you're going to be like, oh, I know. I already know. Yeah. I know all about it. Anything else? There's really no questions at all. The grocery store's huge.
I love the yogurt.
Yeah?
It's really hard to find anything other than 0% fat. I know that Chobani has like 2 flavors, it's 2%. And have you seen my kids? They need the full fat.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's saying like there's no yogurt with full fat, and she's correct, but we're seeing a lot more. So it used to be just Hyvee that had the total, the full fat, and then Chobani got on the bandwagon, and now Siggy's just came out with their full fat. So I imagine we'll see a lot more. But yeah, they're just really plain, because the people that are buying full fat are the ones that are eating plain yogurt. So that's kind of why we don't see a ton of flavors. There are a couple, but yes.
I buy Hy-Vee for my chickens.
Yeah, so Hy-Vee is delicious if you guys haven't tried it. What?
So there's 2 of you, and like, who do you answer to? Like, what, you know how Rebecca was talking.
So there are 2 of us, and we're kind of our own department, and we try to sometimes find out who we answer to, and it's kind of like nobody, but everybody. Like, it's really weird, but I think people are very intimidated by us. I don't know if you have that too, but like nobody knows what we do, so when we go ask a question, they're like, sure, do whatever you want to do. So we're like, okay. So we just go in and we're like, hey, can we spend $1,000 on blah, blah, blah? They're like, whatever you need to do. We asked, okay. So, but it's kind of nice because you get to be your own boss, and we make our own hours, and we get to do whatever events we want. If we don't want to do an event, like some school just asked if we could do a field trip for like 157-year-olds, and we were like, no. No. So it's really great because that question was fielded to our store director, who's like, I'll let you guys handle this. So he supports our decision whichever way. So we do have a lot of support. It's just a really, really cool place. We have chefs there, so whenever we're hungry, we're like, chef, can you feed me? Can you make me something? And he does, and they do. So it's magical. But anyway, it's just a really, really cool place to work. If anyone's ever interested, they're always asking us for who would be great as a dietitian for Hy-Vee. So if you are interested at all, you can let me know. You know, we should be getting another store here in the they're supposed to break ground in the next year, but it was already supposed to be built. But also, if you were wanting to travel, they're always looking for just good people for Hy-Vee. So it's something, I didn't know anything about the job. When I heard about the opening from Adrienne, she was like, oh yeah, you'd be great at it. And I was like, sounds pretty boring. Like, what do? You just like sit there and wait for people to talk to you? But I didn't realize all the stuff that they did, and it's just really cool. It's something different every day, as my interns know. It changes at the drop of a hat. So like, you'll go in thinking you have 2 hours to prep for something, and then 2 people ask you questions from the store, and it throws your whole day off. So you gotta like work on your toes. Or sometimes they're like, hey, can you present in 10 minutes for a group of 50? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it, you know? So you get really good at working on the fly, which is fun. I mean, I enjoy it. I like a little rush, a little challenge. And you can tell I don't like to stand still, so it's great. A lot of energy. Anything else?
I was wondering, so I know probably most of the people here
are more of like Whole Foods type approach people. Is that something that's very Hy-Vee wide, or is that more specifically in your store?
Good question. Both.
Both.
Kansas City Metro, it's very much about real food, most of them. But it's still like there's pockets. So some people are very much like, there's some dietitians that don't even buy products, like cleaning product, they make everything, their makeup, their cleaning, just everything. And then you get the complete other side, which is very much fat-free, low calorie, like you just get a whole spectrum. But what's great about Hy-Vee is you have every store can do everything differently. So we have autonomy in every store. So you can go to 5 different Hy-Vees. You won't see the same products. The atmosphere will be different. The dietitians will practice in a very different way. So there's a Hy-Vee in Osage Beach, which is mainly a tourist town. So she does not make money for the store. They do a lot of community outreach because nobody's really there. They're so busy in the summer, but it's not people who are there consistently. They're just vacationing. And so she doesn't do many consultations. She doesn't do classes. She does more community, whereas we do more consultations, classes, things like that. So it's different at every Hy-Vee, but it's great. It depends on your store director too. So our store director, like I said, he's just like, do whatever you want. Sure. You want to do that? Sure. Let's do it. And so, like I said, I think he doesn't know what we do, which is kind of a positive thing. So he's just like, sure. Yeah. So, yeah, good question. Does anyone want to be a retail dietitian now? Nobody. Okay, everyone's like, no, you make it sound very overwhelming. Okay, any other questions?
So do you want to tell them about your Eat with the RD thing?
Oh, yeah.
That might be interesting.
Absolutely. So we, Priscilla is an amazing cook. She's very passionate about cooking. I can cook, but I don't really care about it. So she, and she's worked in several restaurants, and so we started Dietitian's Dinner, and we're going to do it every season. And the menu is designed completely by us. The interns helped. We were kind of testing out recipes, which is awesome. There was a dessert day too where we tested out desserts. But it's a plant-based meal. Our last one we had to do indoors because it rained, but it's going to be outside by our garden. We're going to have a live band. It's a ukulele band. They're touring and I don't even remember, they're in a different country right now, so it's a pretty big deal. But who doesn't love a ukulele? So they're going to be there. We have 2 alcohol vendors that come. It's unlimited drinks. Last time we had, I forget what it's called, but they brought moonshine, a blueberry lemonade moonshine, and then we had mothers there. But anyway, it's like a 6-course plant-based meal. It's not vegan, it's not super healthy, but it's vegetables, so showing people what to do with vegetables. But you sit down, you can bring your friends, listen to music, drink some alcohol, eat some food. It's awesome. So we're going to be, it's October 24th or something. Don't quote me on that. But it's in October. And tickets are going to go on sale. Early bird's going to be $20. If you, after early bird, like a month out, it'll be $25. But it's really a fun time. Last time we had a couple dietitians show up and it was really cool. But it's just a really good time. And you get a lot of drinks included. So that's really fun. You get to hang out with us, it's gonna be a good time. Priscilla does the cooking and I'm like the entertainment. I feel like I'm walking around like, hey, how you guys doing? But it's a good time. So, and we might enlist some intern help for it. We don't know yet, but I'll get back to you. So, cool. Anything else? All right, you guys are free to go. Thank you so much for your attention.